Let me just pull that up here. So again, just welcome and thank you for your time in attending this webinar. This is going to be a fairly short webinar, no more than sort of 20 minutes to half an hour. And I just want to briefly go through some of the new features that the IC3D development team have been hard at work over the last sort of month or so in adding to the already existing functionality. So just a little bit of an agenda. I think the people who are on this webinar know what IC3D Steel is and what it can do, but I'm just going to go through a quick recap. I won't show anything, just to talk about it. I'll then talk about one of the new features that we've added, which is an automated handrail creation module, describe what it is, and we'll go through a live demonstration. Then there's another new feature, which is detailing of drawings that come out of IC3D Steel, adding dimensions and scaling views and so on. And then we'll just have some time for questions and answers at the end. So not too much to go through, as I said, probably around 20 to 30 minutes. So let's just get started with a quick introduction to IC3D Steel. So first of all, it is an integrated structural design package within SolidWorks. So quite a few of the other packages that are out there are standalone packages. SolidWorks is a great design tool for mechanical design, and some people do use it for structural design with weldments, but that has some limitations. So IC3D Steel allows you to work within SolidWorks using your familiar workflows and just extending some of that functionality. So we extend the weldment functionality from just being in the part level to the assembly level as well. We also have automated structural connections conforming to Australian standards. At the moment, they are for Australian standards, but in fact, one of my roles over the last sort of 3 to 4 weeks has been to introduce new connections in there for the New Zealand standard as well, or the HERA standard as it's called. So there will be some new connections being added to the library over the next sort of couple of weeks as well. Numbering of similar items in your design for fabrication and assembly purposes. So we can group similar items together for, or beams or columns or plates, things like that. We can also sort of virtually group items together for assembly purposes. You want a numbered item for all the items in a portal frame or something like that. We can group them together and create drawings of those. Just speaking of creating drawings, we have bulk drawing generation. So all of the items that you want to create a drawing of in your structural steel design, all of the drawings can be created at once. So you'll have, could be dozens, could be hundreds of drawings. They'll all be created for you, and then it's about time to going back and detailing them. So a great sort of time saver there as well. And we have some project management tools which allow you to have consistent information across all of your project files in the way of custom properties. The project management tools also allow you to rename files without losing references, which has always been a problem with just standard SolidWorks, as well as batch rename files according to some rule that you might have set up as well. So some tools to help you maintain references, I guess, within your structural steel design. So that's a little bit about what IC3D Steel is and where we are at the moment. Of course, it's a software that's continually under development, and we'd look to add more to this in a newer version and a future version as well. So let's talk about some of the new features that have been added, and one of the new features is a handrails module. So this handrails module, I guess, what was the reason for developing it? Well, my personal experience speaking to customers out there, prospects, people in the know within the industry, there have been numerous requests, I should say, for handrails. So everyone that we speak to that's developing, say, platforms or anything like that, or any sort of structure, there might have been handrails needed for obvious safety reasons. So you can create obviously handrails within standard SolidWorks functionality using a sweep or some form of weldments or something like that, but we wanted something a little bit more automated. So that's what we've come up with, a module that allows you to automatically create handrails based on the structural sort of members that you select. It uses the WebForge catalog for sizing of the stanchions and the hand and the knee rails and the toe plates and so forth. And it's presented as as what we call or what we term a labs module. What does that really mean? Well, we want to put it out there and get a lot of feedback from people like yourself, users and people in the industry, and we present it as a sort of a beta or a labs module under development. And then based on the feedback we get, that gives us much more opportunity to develop into a full-fledged sort of production-ready module, I guess is the where we want to go with this. So let's take a look at the handrails module. So what I will do is I'm just going to switch to SolidWorks. Let me just go to, there we are. So hopefully you should all be seeing an assembly on the screen, which I've got open inside of SolidWorks. Again, if you can't see it, just let me know, indicate in the chat, and I'll try to refresh my screen, but I'll just assume that you're seeing it. So this is a very simple platform, and I'm just going to go through a few examples of the handrails module and how it works. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on the handrails button. So it's an add-in that runs. And we've got some options here. Most of the options are sort of visual at this stage, but they will be added to in further development. So you could choose a standard. At the moment, we support AS1100. What material you might want, what treatment you might want. And at this stage, we're only supporting top-mounted, but in the future, we would look to go to side-mounted as well. And the parts that come out, the handrails that come out, how do you want them to be named in the feature tree as well? So I've just got a simple prefix here, HR and underscore. And then all that I go ahead and do is I just select a structural entity that I want, click OK, and it'll just go ahead, takes a few seconds, and it'll go ahead and add a handrail to that. So there you go. You can see that it's added a handrail, and it's added in as just a simple part, which is a weldment part that we could open up, we can edit, we can create drawings off, and drawings is something that I'll show a little bit later on during the demonstration. So that's pretty simple, and it's organized nicely into folders as well. Well, for one, that makes it just easier to see within the feature manager design tree, but it also just makes it easier to delete or suppress or hide or whatever you might want to do within the feature tree. So let's just take a look at another example. What if we want to have obviously multiple entities as well? So let's just run it once more. And if we just select these two beams here, for example, again, click OK. Let it run. And you'll see that it's extended. So it adds, we also account for obviously bends within the, if you select two members at once, it will create a corner radius between them as well. If these had been selected separately, you would just have a handrail on this beam and a handrail on this beam with no sort of bending between the two as well. So if you select them in conjunction, we do account for having a corner radius between the two beams there. But it's not just limited to that. So let me just delete this one here as well. Excuse me. We can do sort of the entire platform, and you can see here that I've got sort of a set of staircases. So obviously for this beam, I wouldn't want the handrail to extend along all of it. So I can account for that by sort of having a break for the handrail here and here. So there's that sort of intelligence and logic built into the module as well. So let's take a look at how this is going to work. So I'll just select my entities. I have to select these ones here to tell the handrails module to account for the break, and I can just sort of go around in a loop, or I can select randomly as well. It doesn't really, the order doesn't matter as such. And we just click OK. Now this will just take about a minute or a half or so while it's running through it. You can imagine there are a large number of operations that have to be carried out here. Excuse me. So it's just going to be running through here. Should be a few more seconds. And you can see that the handrails are created there. So you can see it goes right around the platform, adds bends at every corner, and as I said, or as I mentioned, it accounts for the breaks that we've got. In this case, we needed an opening here, so it caps the ends of the handrails there as well. So it's quite neat in the way that it does that. And if you just think about maybe the current methods that you have for creating a handrail of this sort, it may be possible to achieve this with the sweep or something like that, but trying to get the logic of where you need a break and trying to automate that could be quite difficult. So this is sort of the whole aim of the handrails module, to be able to streamline the process of creating these sorts of handrails. Let's take a look at a few more examples. One of the great strengths of SolidWorks has always been the ability to have sort of parametric design. So you have an initial design, you might change some dimensions and elements of your design update. And handrails here are no different. I'm just going to close this down and we'll just open up another model here. Okay, so this is just sort of a simple platform. I hope you can see that on my screen there. Again, just a simple platform that's been created in IC3D Steel, and then I've added some handrails here. And again, these were all added in one go. I think it took about sort of 3 or 4 minutes to add those, so I won't add them again live. But what I wanted to show you here is sort of the parametric nature of these handrails here as well. So if I look at the underlying sketch of the platform, you can see I've just added some very sort of nice round number dimensions for the different areas of the platform there. So if we just go ahead and update these, and we'll take a look at how these sections update as well. So for example, this section here is at the moment 15 meters or 15,000 millimeters. Let's just go ahead and change that to say 5,000, and I will just go ahead and rebuild the assembly. And you can see it rebuilds with no problem there. And obviously the number of stanchions in the handrail are shortened, lessened to meet the shorter length of handrail there as well. Okay, so the parametric sort of nature will update quite nicely with SolidWorks as well. Again, in another example here, we could update this portion of the platform, and you can see how it updates there with no problem. And again, due to sort of the fully associative nature of SolidWorks, if you have drawings of this assembly, or if you've got drawings of this particular section of handrail, you could open up the drawings and quite easily go ahead and excuse me, quite easily go ahead and update those drawings as well. And of course, it's not limited to just simple ones like this. Whatever sort of complexity you could imagine, you could add handrails to those as well. So taking this platform up one level further, just a multi-level sort of platform that I've created there. So just adding another level to that existing one. And this, by the way, is just another good function of the project manager. So because I created this assembly as a IC3D Steel project, I'm able to access it directly without having to sort of search for files within my hard drive or network or anything like that. So you can see I can have different levels of sort of complexity, handrails for the stairs and the upper and lower platforms, and I could do most of these actually in one hit, and it would go ahead in and do that. So it saves me a lot of time not having to create handrails using sweeps or something like that. So handles sort of very simple designs to quite sort of complex designs as well. And you can see, for example, the stairs here. Again, I've got the end, or the capped ends, I should say, of the handrails at this point, and this point here as well. What about drawings? Obviously, you're going to want to create drawings of these. Let's just go back to that initial assembly that I had. I'll just go ahead and open that up there. And we'll just go ahead and show those handrails. Now, handrails, because they're created as parts, and they are weldment parts, at the initial stage they're created as virtual parts, but you can very quickly go ahead and just save them as an external file. So if I just take one of these sections, doesn't really matter, say this one here, and I'm just going to save it as a file. I can then go ahead and open it up, and you can see it's just a simple weldment function with a cut list, and we can go ahead create a drawing from this. So let's just make a drawing, just drag a view on there, say isometric, and then we could add a cut list table to that as well. So if we just go to weldment cut list, and you can see we've got the item, we've got the quantity, and we've got the description as well. And because we've just got some standard parts which are included along with the module, you can just go ahead and modify the descriptions of those standard parts, and then any handrails you create with them, their descriptions will be updated as well. And you can see the length is automatically calculated for each of the handrails and the knee rails, and the numbers here just refer to the diameters in inches, I believe, which is what is standard in the WebForge catalog. All right, and of course you can create assembly drawings as well. So if we just go back to the assembly, create a drawing of the entire assembly for a bill of materials or something like that. So I think I've got a drawing already, so let me just open that up. So you can just see a simple drawing here with an isometric view, and I've just got a bill of materials and then just lengths for each of the handrail members, and I've just organized this by length, but I could organize it by sort of description or number there as well. So the drawings that you would want to create, they're available for you. If you want to create them of individual sections, just save the sections as external files, and then you can go ahead and create drawings as no problem, or assembly drawings just with a standard bill of materials and some balloons there as well. I might just re-balloon this drawing just to make it accurate there. There we go. And we can just simply re-balloon, and it's all updated. So communicating these handrails is something that we've thought of as well, so that it integrates into the existing SolidWorks and IC3D Steel functionality as well. So that was a little bit of what I wanted to show you, what we've got at the moment about the automated handrails module. So you can see it allows for automated creation. We apply or account for bends at corners. We account for where the handrail needs to stop because of a break or something like that. We account for the parametric nature, and it's all standard sized according to I guess, an industry standard catalog, the WebForge catalog. So that's what the handrails module is at the moment. As I said, it is presented as or available as sort of a labs or a beta module, and based on sort of feedback that we receive from well, I guess from the industry and from users, onto how it can be developed and improved further as well. In the last portion, I just want to spend a couple of minutes talking about the other new feature in IC3D Steel, which is a automatic detailing and dimensioning, again, sort of routine that we've developed. So what I'll do is I'm just going to close down these files here. And let me just open up another project created in IC3D Steel, a shed, and some of you have probably seen this in demos or perhaps on the videos that we've got up on YouTube and things like that. All right, so when we're generating drawings with IC3D Steel, we can simply sort of number all of the items sort of together and then create drawings of those numbered items. So if I go here and I can take a look at the numbering, so you can see how similar geometry items are grouped together. We've got these beams, these beams. If we go down to some of the columns, so you can see some of the columns and some of the plates and so on and so forth that are grouped together there as well. Okay, so helps you to sort of keep everything together in how you might want it to be reproduced as well. So what I want to do here, and how this numbering can be reused, is when it comes to the drawings. So let's just go into our generate drawings function here. First of all, we can choose what we want or how we want to name the drawing. So here I'm just choosing whatever the description of my item is, and its mark number, and then the sheet will just be the mark number. So if my mark number is C1 and the description is 310 UC column, then the drawing name will be 310 UC-C1, and then the sheet name will be C1. And here you can choose what templates you want to use, what views you want to insert. If your template supports predefined views, you can tick the option here, whether you want to insert a bill of materials table or not, and what projection, orthographic projection you're using. So typically here in Australia and in New Zealand, we use third angle projection, but if you're in the States or parts of Europe, you might choose to use first angle projection as well. Clicking next, here we get access to what we actually want to create drawings of. So what I want to do is create two separate drawings, one of, say, one of these columns, and a drawing of its associated base plate as well. So I'm just going to grab the column and just simply drag and drop it, and you can see how the drawing is going to be named, the description, and then the mark number. And if I double click to go down to the sheet level, we can see the sheet name here as well. So I could add subsequent sheets here if I wanted a multi-sheet drawing, but in this case I just want two single sheet drawings. And I'll also get the base plate there. Again, just drag that on, and again it's got its description, 335 by 20 flat, and its mark number. And if I go down, I'll see its sheet name there as well. And that's pretty much all I have to do in terms of specifying which drawings I want. I could, of course, you can see I've got a select all button here. I could create drawings of everything, but that would take quite a while. So for the purposes of sort of brevity, I'll just create two drawings. And then I click next, and here we have an option to run sort of custom actions or macros while the drawings are being generated. And here we have this new sort of macro that's been developed to automatically add dimensions and scale views and add break lines as well. So let's just see. I should have actually just switched back to my presentation just for a moment. So we've looked at handrails, and the other new feature was the detailing of drawings. So we can automatically dimension the geometry in the drawing. We would add overall dimensions and dimensions to whole centers. We use sort of a common datum going from left to right. Views are auto-scaled to match the sheet size. and we add break lines. So typically when you are creating drawings of long structural members, it could be a good idea to add break lines so that they can be still represented at a large scale, but still fit within your drawing sheet borders as well. All right, so let's just take a look at how this is going to work. So I'll just switch back to SolidWorks here. And that's all I have to do. So make sure that that macro is going to run. And then I'll just click OK to generate the drawings. So we just have sort of a status window while the drawings are being generated. It's fairly quick. It's just obviously 2 drawings that are being created here. All right, and that's complete. So let's just go ahead and take a look at the drawings here. So what you can see, this is our drawing of the column here. So first of all, we have our 3 standard views. We have the dimensions automatically added, as I mentioned, overall and hole center dimensions, as you can see. And you can see we've just got some break lines added so that the beam or column in this case can still be represented as at a particular scale and fit within the drawing sheet borders. And this is all done automatically. So if it was 10 drawings or 100 drawings you were creating, all of them would be automatically scaled and dimensioned, and break lines would be added where needed as well. So if you can imagine the time that you might normally take to detail those sorts of drawings, this can be a significant sort of reduction in that time to have a lot of that work done automatically for you, and then you can just go ahead and choose which dimensions you want to keep, which ones you don't want. Maybe if there's some dimensions that that you need to add as well, some dimensions that are not overall or whole center dimensions pointing to particular areas of your model, or change the scale or something like that. But you have a starting point, which is a great sort of time saver. And if we just take a look at the other model here, so this was just the plate that we had. So again, you can see the standard 3 views, top, front, and right. In this case, probably I should have chosen a different sheet. This one seems a bit too small. But again, I can see the dimensions automatically added. And not only are the whole diameters reported, the whole quantities are reported as well, which is not something that SolidWorks does automatically unless the holes have been created by using the Hole Wizard tool. So if you use the Hole Wizard tool, but if you just use a cut extrude or something like that, the whole quantities are typically not reported automatically. So again, that's a bit of a nice time saver that you have with this module as well. All right, so that was basically what I wanted to show you in terms of the new features that have been added to IC3D Steel. So just a bit of a summary there. So we've got the handrails module, which allows for automated handrail creation, which is parametric. It adds bends and it breaks where it needs to or ends the handrail. And we've got this automatic detailing of drawings to add overall whole center dimensions to geometry, automatically scale the views, and add break lines to better show sort of long structural members as well. So that's really what I sort of wanted to go through in this webinar. Are there any sort of questions at this point? Is there anything that wasn't clear, or any even if you have any feedback from this initial sort of view that you've seen? Okay, I think we have a comment here. Okay, thank you, Colin. By the way, if you do want access to this, if you're an existing IC3D Steel customer, or if you want to take a look at IC3D Steel from a evaluation point of view or something like that, and try out these features on handrails and the detailing, you've got my email there. I think most of you know me anyway, so you would have my details, but please feel free to email me, and we can then have a discussion about the software, for example. So I'll keep the webinar open for a couple more minutes. If anyone has any questions, please do just enter them into the chat. Otherwise, thank you very much for attending, and you've got my email there if you want to contact me about these features or for any more information as well. Not at this stage, no, it doesn't. Wojtek, that's a good question. It doesn't cut holes in the platform at this stage, but we would look to have that at a future stage, as well as similar to IC3D Steel, where we can have virtual fasteners with the structural connections. We would look to have those virtual sort of fasteners with the handrails as they are inserted as well. But we don't have that at this stage, no. Thank you, Colin. Thanks for attending. Other stanchion types. So, what are the other stanchion types that you would have? Side mount, right? Okay. I can't give you probably a definitive development date. Right. Okay. Yep. Yeah. Those are definitely in the catalog. Yeah. I can't give you a definite sort of release date or anything like that. But it would just be on you would be probably just keeping you updated on progress. I mean, it might be within the next sort of couple of weeks. It might be within the next month. It just depends on I guess we have to have a go at it and see how easy it is to integrate. So this, what you've seen here, probably took about probably 2 to 3 weeks, maybe 2 weeks of work. So that might give you an idea of how much work it might take for the other stanchion types. Not a problem. So yeah, Wojtek, if you are interested in just sort of trying it out for yourself, and obviously would welcome any feedback or anything like that, just on the general usability. Feel free to contact me, and we can look at an evaluation or something like that.